Hi, today we're going to be talking about measurement. This is a ruler, and oftentimes we use a ruler to measure. On one side of the ruler, there are centimeters. That's the smaller ones. And then they're spaced apart in a smaller way. And then on the other side are inches. And so a lot of times when we measure, we use rulers. But what about if we are trying to measure something that is not straight and maybe it is in a different shape, like a circle, like if you want to make a crown for your head, or a band around your head, or a hat? How would you measure that? I want you to think about that. While we do this lesson, I want you to go to page 107 in your journal, and you can fill that out as we do this, or you can go to the slide 2 on EDM online, and we will be filling that page out as we go through the lesson. We might not fill every blank, but we will do some of it together. So first of all, if you are measuring around a shape that is not straight, it is better to use a tape measure. And a tape measure looks like this. Sometimes they're bigger. A lot of times construction workers use this. And I'm just going to try to get it closer here so you can see the numbers. Again, you will see the inches right there. And as you measure, if it's halfway between a number, that is a half. So 1.5. This is 1.5. And then past the 2, it's hard for me to figure out here. 2 would be 2.5, right? Halfway between 2 and 3 is 2.5. Halfway between 3 and 4 is 3.5. So that's how you would measure. So let's say I am making a hat or a crown for my head, and I would need to measure around my head. So you would take this measure and you would measure it, and I would come together and I would look where it comes together. And when I look to where it comes together together around this number, right? It was right here, 22. So around my head measures about 22 inches. Now, if you have one at home, you can measure your head and see how much it is around your head. Another thing, some people make bracelets or necklaces. Well, what if you needed to measure your wrist to make a bracelet or a watch or whatever you're making? So you would measure around and see where it comes together. It's kind of hard to do it yourself. It's easier to have somebody help you, but when you come together, you see where the number is right there. I'll see if you can see that. It's 7. So it comes together about 7. So that's, my wrist is about 7 inches. So if you have your paper in front of you, you could mark that down. Say head, around your head was 22 inches. Around wrist is 7 inches. Let's measure around, I have a cup here. Let's measure around my cup and see what it is. So on your paper or slide, you can write cup, and we're going to go around the cup and see what it measures. So here we go. And if we measure around this cup, it comes about right together right here. Which is, it's upside down, but it's 12 inches. So around the cup, is 12 inches. So you could write that down, 12 around the cup. And then if I have an apple right here, and I'm going to measure around the apple. So I'm going to put this around to where it meets together. So where it meets together is right there, which is actually between 7 and 8. So it's 7.5 inches. So you could write 7.5 inches for around an apple. And then I have one more thing that you could write on your paper. This is some Clorox wipes. And we're going to measure around it. Here we go, all the way around. And when we come to where it comes together is right there. And that is the number 10. So it is 10 inches around the Clorox wipes. So you can go ahead and fill that out. And if you have a measuring tape at home, you can do a couple more on that page together. Now, what if you have a sign or something that is shaped in an odd way, like they were talking about a shape like that. I'm not a good drawer, so I'm just saying something like that. It's on your slide, so you can see a better drawing of it. What could you do to measure around there? Well, what you could do is measure one side, then the other side, and the other side. So you'd measure all the sides, and then you'd add them up and find out what the measurement was around that shape. So there you go. Happy measuring.